The two richest horse races in the whole world were rocked to their core by two horses from a metropolis. The region of Hong Kong has no horse breeding. They import almost exclusively geldings, and their racehorse population is only 1,250. And yet, the $20 million Saudi Cup and $20 million Australian Everest Stakes, a 1.125 race on dirt, and a 6-furlong turf sprint on two different continents both had everyone fixated on Hong Kong's superstars. First, Romantic Warrior, G1 winner in Australia, Japan, and Dubai. May not have won the Saudi Cup, but he gave us one of the greatest duels of the last decade, losing by a matter of inches to Japan's phenom, Forever Young, and was still 11 lengths clear of third place. And just this weekend, Ka Ying Rising, the highest rated horse in the world, put his win streak on the line in the Everest, traveling outside his small home where he had broken and reset his own speed records to take on 11 of the best sprinters in Australia. The once New Zealand-born Australian-trained horse hadn't stepped foot on the continent since he started his racing career, but when he returned, he was the best of the bunch. It was a coronation for the fastest horse currently breathing. But this wasn't always the story. With the celebration of such monumental champions from this tiny region, it's time to turn back the clock 25 years to the new millennium. Back then, Hong Kong had never won an international Grade 1 race. It was just a dream. One not everyone thought would come true. But just 6 months into the new century, a near solid bay gelding with a small star named after shrimp would become the chosen one, making history and giving us the first clue of what we now know very well, that Hong Kong horses are world class. This is the story of Hong Kong's first international star, Fairy King Prawn.
Here comes Fairy King Prawn. Fairy King Prawn, the horse of Hong Kong. Hong Kong, see your champion. Fairy King Prawn blows them away in the...
Born in 1995 in Australia, Fairy King Prawn didn't stay in his home country for long. In the 1997 Inglis Easter sale, Hong Kong businessman Lau Sak Hong sent representatives to bid for him with a budget of 400,000 Australian dollars. They wanted a horse by the current leading Australian sire 2 years running, Dane Hill. All told, when the last of his horses left the racetrack, Dane Hill had sired 89 Grade 1 winners, becoming leading sire 9 times in Australia, and acquiring the same titles in Britain, Ireland, and France, years after he passed away in 2003. Even back in 1997, he was well established, and getting horses sired by him within their budget was not easy. Every yearling they wanted was going for too much. But at the end of the sale, when most of the big buyers had got a horse they liked, a Dane Hill son slipped under their noses. His mother was Twiglet, a G2 winner on the track, and this yearling was her first baby. He was sold for 180,000 Australian dollars, not even half the budget. Hong was a lover of shrimp, and named all of his horses after them. For decades, the King Prawns won multiple major races in Hong Kong, but the king of all the prawns was Fairy King Prawn. But nothing ever starts so easy. Initially, it took him time to qualify to even make his first race. In the barrier trials, practice races, it took him 7 attempts before he was even allowed to run. One particular incident had him make a U-turn after leaving the gate. But with the patience of his then trainer Ricky Yu, the real horse began to reveal himself. His groom described him as having 3 distinct personalities. In the stable, he was a very sweet, approachable horse. This casual attitude bled over to training, where he loafed carefree across the track. He wasn't catching anyone's eye then. Personality 2 was a cocky star who posed for photographers. He knew he was a star. And then finally, Personality 3, which only showed itself off on race day.
All rise for the king! Fairy King Prawn wins the chairman's prize by a mile!
A warrior with a wicked turn of foot. He'd be placed behind a horse, almost blocked early on, but once he was moved out and saw daylight, he'd sweep past them all. It didn't take long for him to become one of the highest rated horses in Hong Kong. Even when he lost, he was very good at getting second. His first big win in Hong Kong was the 1999 Chairman's Sprint Prize, but the prelude to his international quests came in December of 1999, right as the century was coming to an end, when the Hong Kong Sprint was first run. The Hong Kong international races have been run since 1988, but this was the first year the 4 races we now know as the international races were all run. The sprint was the last to be created, and in this phase it was not what we know today, being a 1,000 meter straightaway. No turns, just pure speed. Fairy King Prawn faced stakes winners from Ireland, New Zealand, and America, all of which were better bet than he was. He wasn't even the local favorite, with Best of the Best being the most well-liked. Fairy King Prawn was 6th choice of 13 horses, but on race day, it was all him. Shuffled to the back, once there was an opening, he couldn't be stopped, running away to win. This win was what gave him international recognition, and an official rating as one of the best horses worldwide, setting him up with his big date in Japan, June of next year, the Yasuda Kinen. When Hong Kong horses were thought to have international potential, they were traded from their local Chinese trainers to one of more international prestige. A heartbreak for Ricky Yu and the team that made him a star. Fairy King Prawn was now trained by Ivan Allen, and he was going to try and become Hong Kong's first international G1 winner. Just 8 years earlier, Hong Kong tried for the first time to win overseas with their star horse River Verdon, as he ran in America for the Arlington Million. River Verdon wasn't close to victory, but in the last 2 years, Hong Kong had accelerated, getting devastatingly close to their dream. In 1998, Oriental Express came second to the monster Taiki Shuttle in the Yasuda Kinen, and Indigenous was second in the 1999 Japan Cup to Special Week. Now it was time for 40-1 Fairy King Prawn to throw his hat in the ring. Japan and Hong Kong had squared off against each other multiple times since 1994 on their turfs, but Japan had scored the first successful invasion as Midnight Bet scored the upset in the 1998 Hong Kong International Cup at Sha Tin. Hong Kong had dreamed of getting their own international Grade 1 race, and if it weren't for such world beaters as Taiki Shuttle and Special Week, they would have had one already. They had gotten so close. Was this finally the one? For the Yasuda Kinen, the top 3 betting favorites were Stinger, a G1 winner at 2, now riding a 2-race winning streak at shorter distances. Second choice was the 99 Sprinter Stakes winner Blackhawk. Third choice was King Halo from the Golden Generation, who 2 starts earlier had secured their first G1 in the Takamatsu Namiya Kinen. Further down the field was 99 NHK Mile Cup winner Eagle Cafe and the 99 Yushun Himba champion Umeno Fiber. Fairy King Prawn wasn't even considered the strongest invader, as Godolphin and Great Britain came with their own strong horse, Dictat, a Group 1 winner in both Britain and France. Fairy King Prawn, at 10th favorite, wasn't gonna have it easy. He had run well since the Hong Kong Sprint, but had failed to win in 3 tries. It was time for him to step it up against 17 opponents.
Green cap. They're all in. The gates go back and they're racing. Asian Rudens, as expected, has jumped the gate very well. The cardigan photos on the plate from King Halo, Simboli Indy. Out wide a trot star, Asumi Jet caught deep in those pink colours. Zuzaichi Airedale follows the fence. Behind him, Fairy King Prawn. Dictates at his girth, but he's caught 3 deep and seems to have cover. Near the 650 metre mark. Still the front runner, Asian Rudens, by half a length. Now coming on Daiwa Cardigan, it's never missed a place over the course and grip. It looms up to the leaders. Minor Max deeper and they're all scouting wide. Hooking to the outside, King Halo trying to run on. Stinger's got through the field and coming on. Fairy King Prawn caught up in traffic. He's hooked to the outside, but he's 8 lengths off the leader. Inside the 350 metre mark, they're stretched across the track. Stinger went up to King Halo. Fairy King Prawn starting to rattle. I think he's going to win it. Fairy King Prawn sweeps up to the lead. Stinger's going with him. King Halo's coming back. Dictat running on. Hong Kong, she your champion. Fairy King Prawn blows them away in the Yasuda Kinen. Dictat second, King Halo third. What another magic moment for Ivan Allen and for Hong Kong. The first time they've stepped to the international scale and won. Robbie, old friend, you've done it. The internationals were ignored except for Dictat, who was at the each-way prize. But our champion, Fairy King Prawn, the international sprint winner, was caught up at the top of the straight. He may have been 5 lengths off them, but when Robbie popped in the question, he got out, he picked up, and look at him down the centre of the track, storming home.
No more dreaming. This was real. Fairy King Prawn had kicked the door down. The path paved by River Verdon, Oriental Express, and Indigenous had finally led to a victory. No one could fully dismiss Hong Kong again. After this, Fairy King Prawn was crowned Hong Kong Horse of the Year and the most popular horse in Hong Kong, titles he'd go on to repeat the following season, becoming the People's Horse. The Yasuda Kinen was not the end of his international quests or successes. While he didn't win either, he bravely fought in the Hong Kong Mile in a famous duel with New Zealand's Mayor of the World, Sunline, where the mayor got the perfect setup and still could only barely hold off Fairy King Prawn's onslaught. The following March, Fairy King Prawn got revenge on Sunline in the Dubai Duty Free, but lost the race to globetrotting French star Gin and Tonic. He failed to defend his title in the Yasuda Kinen in 2001, but went out a winner in what no one knew would be his final race, the National Day Handicap, carrying between 12 to 20 pounds more than all rivals. A suspensory ligament and splint bone injury after the race was found, and after a year of rest, it was decided he would retire, getting a hero send-off and then becoming a riding horse at a riding school. The once super speedster and globetrotter was teaching youngsters the basics of riding a horse. Strong enough to conquer the world, but also strong enough to be kind. Since 2011, he's been fully retired, with his last whereabouts being an Ascot farm in New Zealand, where he still lives now as a 30-year-old horse. Since his first win, Hong Kong has only continued their international prowess. To name just a few standouts, Cape of Good Hope won the Golden Jubilee in England and the Australia Stakes, Silent Witness and Ultra Fantasy claimed the Sprinter Stakes in Japan, Bullish Luck gave Hong Kong another Yasuda Kinen, Vengeance of Rain redeemed Fairy King Prawn's Dubai defeat by claiming the Dubai Shima Classic, Rich Tapestry took the Santa Anita Sprint Championship in America, and of course, Romantic Warrior and Ka Ying Rising, setting the world on fire today. A quarter century of champions, all culminating with Hong Kong's horses standing as some of the best in the whole world. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It truly is remarkable how fast things can change in the racing world. As for where Hong Kong conquers next, we'll just have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure, from Fairy King Prawn to Ka Ying Rising, a pantheon of legends have stepped foot in this metropolis, and many more are going to come here to leave their mark for the foreseeable future. See you guys next time.